The following program is a Greenlight Maine production being brought to you in part by Bangor Savings Bank.
It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine, building Maine's economy. Greenlight Maine, start here, scale here, stay here. It's your Maine and mine, building Maine's economy, one dream at a time. It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Season 10 of Greenlight Maine. This is a milestone year. We have given away more than $1 million in cash to companies, and millions more has been invested after appearing on the show. We would be remiss if we didn't thank all of you at home for rooting for these companies, creating jobs, and driving Maine's economy. We're kicking off with our college series. We have two amazing students with UMaine Orono on deck and Bowdoin College. But first, we're going to say hello to some important people, our judges, who are forward thinkers and also driving Maine's economy. First up, we have Steve Kautz from FAME. Welcome.
Thank you. I work for the Finance Authority of Maine, FAME, and FAME is a nonprofit independent agency working to support the economic well-being of Mainers through business development, access to higher education, and financial wellness outreach, which is what I do as a financial education specialist, visiting schools and anybody who will listen to me about personal finance.
You do an awesome job, so thank you so much for being here. Next, we have Kim Pope from Bangor Savings Bank. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here. My role with Bangor Savings Bank is Chief Banking Officer, which mostly means that I have the great privilege of working with all of our business lines that serve businesses and consumers across the state of Maine and New Hampshire. We turned 183 years old on Valentine's Day this year, so we're very committed and proud to be part of our Maine economy, and we're just thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Perfect. And rounding out our panel today, we have David Bass-Clark.
Hi, I'm the owner of Willard Scoops in South Portland. We make all our own ice cream. Come on down. And I'm also a member of the Maine Angels, which is an investment group here in Maine, and just really excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. All right, so we're going to talk to you in just a few minutes, but it's time for our first pitch from the University of Maine at Orono. I'd like to welcome Lucas Bent whenever you're ready.
Hey, my name is Lucas Bent. I'm a co-founder and lead developer for GreenDex. Thanks so much for having me. So I want to start off by pondering a question with you guys. Where do we draw the line? I know it's kind of abstract, but we ask ourselves this every day. For example, how much work can I get done at my job today? Where do I draw the line? Or how many times am I going to let my friend flake on me? Where do I draw the line? Or this company that I buy from, for how long am I going to watch it destroy our environment or discriminate against workers before I do something about it? Where do I draw the line? That last question is something that consumers are worrying more and more about every day as ethical consumerism booms in the market. The problem is, how do we know which companies have crossed the line? Because in so many cases, corporations have skewed, bent, or warped those lines beyond recognition. Because that's what they want, right? Confused, uninformed consumers who feel like they have no other option. I mean, who has the time to sift through corporate jargon just to find out if a company's acting responsibly? I mean, the research process for one company could take days or even weeks. But that's why we created GreenDex. GreenDex is a platform built on a principle. Companies should be held responsible for their actions. So that's what we're doing. We're grading companies A through F based on everything from their greenhouse gas emissions to how they treat their employees. These grades are trustworthy and transparent, giving consumers the power to make an informed decision as to whether a company is truly worth their dollar. So simply open our app, search for any company or business that you're interested in, and learn the truth about them. But it's not just about calling out the bad actors. No, we also want to highlight the entrepreneurs and businesses that are doing things right. And that's where profit comes in for us. We're going to partner with local businesses right here in Maine that meet our standards. On the big social media platforms, those small businesses are so often outbid by the bigger fish in the advertising space. Not on GreenDex though. We're built from the ground up to uplift those businesses, providing unique value to them and our end users. Now, we've been in development for well over a year, and we're backed by a solid network of experts, including professors of business ethics and ecology, who are helping us with our grading algorithm, as well as mentors at organizations like SCORE, who are helping us solidify our business plan and move towards launch. Now, we plan to launch this summer, However, we do have a few financial obstacles. For example, we need to join the Apple Developer Program. That costs money. We need to list our app on both major app stores. That costs money. We have server costs and storage costs. Bottom line, we need a bit of funding to get our app off the ground. That's why we're here today, and we're so grateful for this opportunity. Because good business can't really be good if it comes at the expense of the world. With GreenDex, we're drawing a line there, because together, we can hold companies to a higher standard. And today, we're putting that opportunity in the palm of your hand. What will you do with it? Thank you.
Excellent pitch, and SCORE has done so much for Greenlight Maine as well. And I love what you're doing for consumers.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, kick us off.
Awesome. Thank you, Lucas, for that introduction to GreenDex. Fascinating concept. One question that comes to mind, I know you mentioned the consumer a lot. Is part of this also for potential investors? For example, somebody screening out whether they would want to own stock in a company, or is it at this time specifically for the consumer?
So there's already a lot of platforms out there for ESG investment, environmental, social governance investment, which is sort of in a similar vein to our concept, but specifically geared at investors. So we're planning to take some of that same data, environmental, social, and governance data for companies, and aim it at end users, at end consumers, your average American who just buys things at the store. That said, assuming that a platform is useful and we use the same data that a lot of these platforms use, we have trustworthy methods, absolutely an investor could use our platform as well.
Thank you.
Kim.
Great. Thank you. That was a fascinating presentation. Really well done, Lucas. My question has to do with the gathering of the data.
Yeah.
And how you set about grading a company.
So the main thing to know here is there's a platform online called WikiRate. It's sort of like Wikipedia, but for ESG data. That's the way that I think about it. So it's a great platform. People can contribute to it. People can audit all the data. And the best thing about it, besides it being totally open to use, is that every single piece of data on the platform has to be paired with a source. So along with that data point has to be uploaded the source where they got it from. So that way we can audit every single piece of data and be sure that it's trustworthy. And if anybody has a question or flags something, we can check immediately whether it's correct or not. As for the grading, as we said in the pitch, we're partnering with professors, business ethics, ecology, who have pre-existing skills at evaluating corporations and companies based on their practices. We have to define our values and then grade companies in relation to that. So at some point, it's not going to be objective because we have to take a stand on an issue. For example, take greenhouse gas emissions. Our standard is net zero. So a company that has 0 greenhouse gas emissions, that's the top grade. Anything lower than that is going to be less than that, but the specifics vary depending on subjectivity.
Interesting. Okay, David.
So first of all, thanks for sharing, and I like the arc of the story that you kind of built for us there. It was great. A couple of questions. One, you mentioned the word algorithm, and so I'm just curious if you could tell us a little bit more about how that works into things.
Yeah. So on WikiRate, everything is organized into metrics. So a metric, for example, might be Scope 1 greenhouse gas emissions. So how much CO2 or CO2 equivalent a company directly emits. So for every metric, we custom define a grading algorithm based on the values that we get back for that. So, for example, that might depend on the size of a company, the type of the company, and their emissions. Based on those things, we give them a grade from 0 to 100 based on that. And in the end, we combine all those grades together into a giant average and then assign a letter grade to that.
And just talk to me a little about the actual revenue sources, and who is the customer the revenue source, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, so we're committed to providing our service to our end users for free. So our main sources of revenue will be from the local businesses that we partner with. So we believe that we provide a unique value to them by connecting local and ethically minded consumers with local and more ethical, usually businesses. And the other thing about it is most of the time we find data online for large companies. A lot of the time that has to be reported or simply is easily available online. For local businesses, it's a lot harder. So we find that we have to work personally with them in order to give an accurate grade. But we find that that process is very beneficial to both us and to the business. And so we plan to make those partnerships. We're already talking to local businesses. That way we can get their data on the platform and show them to our users.
Excellent questions, judges. Excellent answers. We like free for the consumers, so great job. Congratulations. We have to take a short break and hear from our sponsors, but up next is Bowdoin College. Don't go away. on over. Here we go.
Since 1852, Bangor Savings Bank has been helping New Englanders thrive by living our You Matter More promise. We invest in Northern New England because your ideas, your well-being, and your business matter to us. Our commitment is reflected in our caring employees, innovative solutions, and investments in local communities. At Bangor Savings Bank, you are at the heart of everything we do because you matter more.
With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. At Martin's Point, we make your Medicare choices easy. Our all-in-one Medicare plans cover doctor's visits, hospital stays, and prescription drugs, dental, vision, and eyewear, fitness and wellness reimbursements, with premiums and copays as low as $0. As one of the highest-rated Medicare Advantage plans in New England, you can feel confident you're covered. Call or visit us online today to request your free Medicare Made Simple guide.
Welcome back to the college edition of Greenlight Maine. Our next entrepreneur can improve your nightlife experience. From Bowdoin College, welcome Ocean Park.
Did you know that the Abbey in Brunswick hosts events called Clear the Case on Sundays for cheap pours of whatever is already open? Or the Empire Comedy Club right here in Portland hosts an event called Comedy for a Cause? If you didn't know that, I wouldn't be surprised. It's really hard finding events and venues around you without having to dig through Google Maps, Yelp, and a dozen other platforms. That's the problem I'm solving. I'm Ocean Park, founder and CEO of AfterHours, and a Bowdoin student who has struggled alongside my peers to find events that I would enjoy at venues like bars, nightclubs, music venues, and comedy clubs, because advertisements are scattered across such different channels. Even if you find a venue that you would like, it's hard to find comprehensive, filterable reviews. I have also talked to local Maine business owners like those at Tonic and Social Goose in Brunswick who are experiencing this pain point of not knowing how to reach their target audience through the appropriate channels to drive more foot traffic, which is why they find immense value in AfterHours. And that's where AfterHours comes in. No more guesswork, your nightlife guide is here. You can filter by specific type of nightlife venue in any city, so you can look up comedy clubs in Portland and the app would show you all of them ranked from best to worst reviews given by AfterHours users. You can then filter this venue's reviews by things like atmosphere, crowd, music, safety, and service to make sure it lines up with everything that you're looking for. You can follow your friends to keep up to date with places that they've ranked in a social feed, and you can compete to be as active of a user as possible on global and city-specific leaderboards. The whole point is to find venues and events that you would enjoy, and that would have been difficult to find otherwise, and for venues to market themselves in a whole new way. It's innovative because it's hyper-personalized, real-time, and community-driven on a singular platform, solving this problem of nightlife roulette in a unique way. We're also tapping into a huge consumer market, with the US nightlife industry projected to hit $38.2 billion by 2028. AfterHours will have multiple streams of revenue, ensuring long-term profitability and scalability. These include venues being able to run hyper-targeted ads with visibility ranging from banners to full-screen premium placements, and they can also pay to rank higher in sponsored search results. We would integrate with platforms like Eventbrite and Ticketmaster, so we can earn commission for any tickets sold through the app, and we would offer exclusive premium features to users. I'm also committed to keeping AfterHours a Maine-grown initiative. This can look like the AfterHours Student Ambassador Program and internship opportunities with Maine's colleges. We would offer exclusive, discounted advertising to Maine businesses to prioritize their success on our platform, and we would also partner with institutions like the Root Institute and the Maine Center for Entrepreneurs, so that investor connections and networking and mentorship can remain within the Maine ecosystem. We're not just building an app, we're creating a Maine success story. I've already invested into hiring a professional app developer who is creating the app's wireframes, but judges, I need your help to take AfterHours to the next level, to complete this development, launch a powerful marketing campaign, and partner with local venues. Let's redefine Maine's nightlife, boost its economy, and make AfterHours the comprehensive go-to nightlife guide. Thank you.
Excellent pitch. Way to close, Ocean. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve, kick us off with the questions.
Hi, Ocean. Nice to meet you, and thank you for the introduction to After Hours. One question that comes to mind is, as active as you may be, how are you going to gather the data on all of these places? Are you taking what's already out there? Are you going to have a team of partiers who are going to visit? How are you going to review and compile so many things?
Yeah, amazing question. Thank you. So through the app developer, the way that a user would search up venues in their area by category is by looking up either the name of the venue or being able to look through categories of venues by city, which is possible through Google Maps API keys on the back end.
Kim.
Thank you. That was a really great presentation. I think you just led me to the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask, do you anticipate this being a nationwide solution or Maine specific?
For scaling at this level, I envision it to start in Maine, but I think that there's so much potential to take this global, especially because the Google Maps API enables very quick geography searching, but I would plan to start in Maine.
Thanks again for the presentation, Ocean. I'm going to follow up kind of in the same vein. So if the Google Maps API is pulling the data, but you described a layer of kind of leaderboards and community engagement, kind of a value prop on top of that, right? Because I can go to Google for that. So tell that story for me. What is the connection between now you have the data, what are all those value propositions on top that you're going to make so I don't want to go to Google, I want to go to After Hours?
Yeah, definitely. I think that a really important aspect to After Hours is the community-driven aspect, and that's where funding would really be important for marketing, either through connecting with local Maine influencers, some who I already follow and know their content really well, partnering directly with local venues to get these users and venues participating on the app, and also so venues can see real-time insights from these users. But I just think that being community-driven, being through social media marketing or marketing in general, would really start driving these communities on the app.
What was the moment that you knew that you wanted to do this?
It started in Maine, actually. I went to one of my favorite restaurants in Brunswick, which I'd always gone to, and I happened to see a calendar of events in the restaurant that I'd never noticed before. And that's what really hit me. If I visit this restaurant all the time and I'm a local user, and I didn't even know that they were hosting these kinds of events, who else is missing out? And how is this venue missing out because they aren't being able to channel it and market it the right way? So that was really my inspiration behind all of this.
Great solution to a problem. Okay, we got time for one more question.
Sure. I think I feel where you're headed in terms of your target group, but is it really specific toward one demographic, or do you intend this to be for someone like me and somebody younger as well? What's your thoughts on that?
I'm really glad you asked that question. It's actually in the US, the biggest group that's driving nightlife revenue makes up 47% of that revenue, and those are ages 35 to 65. So knowing that, I definitely want to make this as inclusive as possible, and I've talked to my developer about having reviews be filterable by age as well, so that people from any age group can really filter through and see what people their age are saying about this venue.
Thank you.
Great answer, and this is going to be a great Maine success story, so kudos to you, Ocean.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break, but don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to hear from our judges. We'll be right back. Come on over.
I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR maven, here today with the Greenlight Maine Marketing Minute. Employer branding is a way that companies can attract the right candidates for jobs by creating an employer value proposition. Back in the old days, employees sometimes had to grovel to get a job, but today the tables are turned because of the shortage of employees. So if you're in HR, marketing, or management, you need to clearly articulate what you have to offer employees beyond the salary and benefits.
I am truly awestruck by the innovation that exists.
Fame has fundamentally been a part of keeping the business community here resilient and robust.
Our role is to help.
Coming in. To have people in your corner that will guide you through the whole process is really helpful.
When they say, hey, we believe in this, it's a real boost to confidence.
Fame
what works for Maine, helping businesses and lenders create a bright economic future.
It's about helping Maine grow.
ARB's advisors are providing savvy solutions to Greenlight Maine startups, closely held businesses, and organizations that operate internationally. And we're doing it the way you'd want Mainers to, guided by our local, sensible values.
Whether you're a small business or a big business, whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, whether you're on the coast, in the city, a small town, wherever. If you're an organization here in Maine, if you want to innovate, and if you want to grow, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
Welcome back to the college edition of Greenlight Maine. It's time for our judges to talk this out. So we're going to start with GreenDex only because Lucas pitched first. What did you think?
Well, it's a fascinating concept. As a personal finance teacher and someone who talks to people about how they spend their money, he really hit a chord with me saying, how do people decide? Or if they're trying to make a decision, can they make a better informed decision on a variety of factors? So I think, from a consumer point of view and a society point of view, they're really onto something. Something valuable. I mentioned the investor angle as well, which they're not doing, but it's related to that, how people can evaluate investments based on various characteristics. So I thought that was something that I really heard loud and clear.
Perfect. I know hospitals are already doing this. So Kim, what do you think?
I'm going to follow what Steve said and say I think they've really hit on something that is so contemporary and concerning for young people especially, but all of us, to be conscious about our business decisions and our environment and all of the things that we care about. And I think that the idea to index those factors and apply a grade makes that data more consumable and usable for the end user.
Perfect. David?
Yeah, I'll just follow that by echoing that. I think the idea of sort of data dashboarding out all of this ESG data that I might have as a consumer, but I wouldn't necessarily be able to parse through, I thought was really interesting. And I think there's a product market fit here that they're kind of figuring out. I think for me, one of the challenges I saw was the revenue, and I think that's where there's just a little bit more figuring out to do, is how do they scale that revenue, how do they actually get that revenue out of small businesses, which I think was their target, they were saying. But it was really interesting and just very made me think a lot.
Yeah, compelling for sure.
Compelling, yeah.
Right. I mean, you guys get to spend some time off camera asking them a lot more questions, and I know where this information is coming from. So yeah, so I can tell you've really thought a lot about this.
In terms of the revenue, everything you said, and it just, there's some what I would call tricky aspects to it, because they're depending on the revenue to be from companies they're evaluating, and short term and in certain vacuums that may be fine, but it could be a problem if that's their only. Something for them to think about is, could they diversify that revenue stream, or how are they going to manage those situations as they're reviewing local companies perhaps, and that's where their money is coming in from.
Okay, let's switch gears to After Hours, and I think it was you who said Ocean has a great name.
Yeah, I really thought it was such a creative brand to say After Hours, to figure out what you're going to do with your fun time after the workday. I think, again, a very, really ingenious idea to aggregate information about what is in my local community, where I might want to spend my time and my resources, and what do my friends and communities think about that. Yeah, I thought it was really great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought we were all kind of saying afterwards that it really is a problem, and for not just for that age group, a younger age group, but for everyone to sort of find that what's going on tonight if I want to do something. Mm-hmm. So I think the value proposition is really great, and the branding and things like that. And I think there's going to be a big lift for, we were talking a little bit around operations, so it was a strong kind of tech idea and product development, but then operations of how you actually scale and kind of build out that community the community lead board idea. So, but overall, really exciting.
Yeah, excellent presentation, great idea, something I think a lot of us would benefit from, a place to go and find out what's going on, as she described. But kind of what David was saying, a question would be, you know, the tech end seems incredibly complicated, but she made it sound easy. But for investors, or for just for getting it running to the level that she wants it to be, it seems like there's a lot of ends there to connect. So that would be, you know, just something for them to think about as they move down the road.
I think that is, those are very real challenges. One of the things I thought was really also compelling about this particular idea, After Hours, is that there are so many revenue stream opportunities via advertising, revenue sharing opportunities, and just building a marketplace where people would find value.
Right, just choose a couple at first, maybe, and then build from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, well, great discussion. Thank you so very much. We're going to give you a couple more minutes, and then when we come back, we will have a winner of today's round. So don't go away. First, a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This is where you start your future, where you find the skills you need to succeed and the support to help you on the way, where you will find the power of innovation and creativity and the challenges to help you grow. Find a beautiful environment and a community that inspires, where you can turn your passion into your profession. This is where you start your life. This is where you belong. Thomas College.
Located off I-95 in Oakland, First Park is known as Central Maine's most connected business park. It features high-speed fiber internet, 3-phase power, and is located in a foreign trade zone, connecting your business to a world of opportunity. With shovel-ready, pre-permitted sites and only a short distance to the local airport and rail service, First Park also makes it easy for entrepreneurs, innovators, and businesses to distribute or receive products around the globe. Interested in locating your business to First Park? Get an exclusive offer at firstpark.com/gift.
Welcome back to the college edition of Greenlight Maine. We just heard two amazing pitches from the University of Maine at Orono and Bowdoin College, and it's time for our judges reveal. I'm going to count you down, judges. 3, 2, 1. And that means After Hours gets the green light and is the winner of this round. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. We appreciate your feedback, so please keep the comments coming. And if you or someone you know want to open a business, we have a bunch of resources on our website, so go to greenlightmaine.com. We'll be back next week with 2 more amazing college students, so please join us then. Have a safe and successful week. Congratulations, come on over.
Greenlight Maine would like to thank our premier partner, Bangor Savings Bank, our corporate partners, and our sponsors. Thank you.